So people will DM me all the time and they'll say, "Hey, I'm baking a cake. And the cake calls for oil. What do I do? It has a cup of oil. It needs a cup
Mhm.
of oil. I don't know what to do." And I'll say, "You know what? Melt 2 sticks of butter and that'll give you your cup of oil." So I would start swapping out oils.
Welcome to the Homeschool Connections podcast. I'm your host, Kaitlin Zara, and I'm so glad you're spending some time with me today. New episodes drop every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. All right, mamas, grab your coffee, press play, and let's homeschool together. I'm so thrilled to welcome Christina Mula to the show. Christina Mula is the proud mom of three and founder and owner of Moola Farm, a small organic farm located on the North Shore of Long Island, New York. Hey, Christina, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for having me.
Christina, you are a mom on a mission. You started gardening and raising animals in your own backyard initially to serve your family, which is an incredible inspiration. And now here you are. You built Moolah Farm from the ground up. I want to hear the whole story of how this amazing business started.
So I've always had chickens. I think that an egg is like the most perfect meal to give a child. So chickens I've always had. Since the day I got married, we lived in an apartment. Once we got a house, we had chickens. My
Mhm.
husband spent all his summers upstate. So his goal was always to buy something upstate. And we did. We bought something upstate as soon as we got married, but we left it undeveloped for years because of finances. So fast forward a little bit, we end up buying a house on the island that needs to be completely gutted and renovated. 2019 hits and I'm pregnant. 2020 hits and now I'm having a baby on April 1st, like right after the lockdown. So now I have this house
Mhm.
that I'm living in that really needs to be gutted. We end up so I had put the house upstate, like in 20 we had just put it up actually. We stayed up there for the first time during COVID. So I locked up the house here and I ended up moving upstate because everything was, new. I mean, listen, it's like, not, like these like fancy finishes, but it was new and it was usable. My kids were happy and I had this little
Mhm.
infant and I had access to supermarkets and I can get farm fresh food for my kids.
Yeah.
So the collection of animals
Mhm.
starts. I started with I started adding ducks. We had a ton of ducks. We had a bunch of chickens. I started adding, and then COVID kind of came down a little bit. And my husband says, "I think we have to return to civilization a little bit. I need to be closer
Mhm.
to work now that things are opening again." So I said to him, "I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm very happy here and I want to stay here." And he says, "Well, that's not the best decision. That's a selfish decision because it's not the right decision for the kids." I said, "Okay, fine. Now, if you can find me a home where I can bring these animals back, I don't mind going a little further out. I don't mind moving around, but I need to bring these animals back." And he goes, "Okay, that's a deal."
Mhm.
And he did. He did. He found a house that we could bring the animals back. I'm on 3 acres. And I put my house on the market. And he goes, "Wait, we said we would talk about it." I said, "Well, I already did, and I sold it. I sold my house on the market at 7 a.m. By 7 o'clock, the contracts were out." And he's, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, the universe, listen, the universe, it speaks to you, right? So, and that was how we ended up, here. And then slowly I brought in the goats. And then, this house came with a garden, but I knocked it down and I made it huge. And from there it just kind of took off. And then you learn that people are looking for it. They want it. So people would ask all
Mm.
the time, like, "Can I buy some grocery, some produce from you guys? Can I get some fresh eggs?" And it just kind of manifested from there, really. Yeah.
Wow. So what did you start making? What were people interested in? I'm sure you were growing some of your own food. Like you said, you had eggs. What else were you offering at this
Eggs
time?
are the number one thing. People love farm fresh eggs. So eggs will always be the first thing. Sourdough, people love fresh bread because bread is usually a staple in people's homes. And anything you can grow, tomatoes, cucumbers. I mean, that year, coincidentally, the first year we started, I think I grew like 450 cucumbers that year. It was like the craziest thing. But again, the
Wow.
universe speaks. Yeah, I didn't
Wow.
have that last summer, but the universe speaks to you. So that's kind of where it started and it kind of manifested from there. Yeah.
Amazing. And I know, like you, I know you mentioned, and I agree with you that an egg is such a perfect
Mhm.
meal for anybody, especially for a child. So, so rich. So many moms are becoming more intentional about the food that they feed their families. And we see that there is this rise. Certainly, if you're on social media, you see it's a trend making sourdough, eating cleaner. There's a strong desire, especially for moms, to shift towards whole, nutritious foods, just like you're doing. And it feels kind of like, as a country, we're waking up to the importance of being so selective about what we eat. So if you were a mom who was just starting out on this journey, trying to get her family healthier, what are some practical and simple ways that you think a mom can make some healthier swaps?
So people will DM me all the time and they'll say, "Hey, I'm baking a cake. And the cake calls for oil. What do I do? It has a cup of oil. It needs a cup
Mhm.
of oil. I don't know what to do." And I'll say, "You know what? Melt 2 sticks of butter and that'll give you your cup of oil." So I would start swapping out oils. I feel like the universe has no room anymore for food dyes and seed oils. Although they do, it's funny. Yesterday I had a barbecue and my sister turns around and goes, "You got yellow mustard." I go, "I did?" She goes, "Yeah, there's food coloring in here." So it's harder than we think, to get that out.
It
So
is.
I would start there. I would definitely eliminate, start with your everyday habits. Habits, are the most important thing. You want to develop sustainable habits. So I'm a big coffee drinker.
Mhm.
So maybe you want to
Mhm.
go and you want to get, if coffee is a staple in your house, maybe you should buy a better quality coffee. If your kids love yogurt, maybe buy a better quality yogurt. Like start small, but if it's something as a staple in your home, you
Yeah.
wanna get the best quality of that staple, I feel like, you know? Um, your pots and pans are important, things because you use them every day too, so you probably should
Mm.
get a better pot and pan because, you use that stuff every day. And then I also like food prepping. Like, I'm very big with food prepping because
Tell me about that.
yeah, so, like,
Tell me.
not meal prepping so much. I mean, I do a little bit, but I'm not meal prepping like the way you would think like a bodybuilder meal prep. Not so much like that, but, like, look, my kids come home from school and they're like hungry lions. They run to the pantry, which is always empty, because that's my goal is to like really eliminate my pantry. So they run to the pantry,
Hmm.
but I find that now what I do is like I'll put out a nice charcuterie board for them of like raw cheeses, some dried fruit, and I'll have
Mhm.
that as soon as they walk in. Or leftovers, some skirt steak. I'll just slice it
Mhm.
up and I'll have it there for them the second they walk in, a sliced watermelon. So this way they can't run to the pantry. Like I feel like I have to beat my kids to the appetite. Do you know what I mean? So little tweaks like that.
Yes,
And I,
absolutely.
I think little tweaks like that, and you'll see such a difference in your home when you eliminate your pantry, you fix your everyday choices, and you try to eliminate those oils and things like that. I think those are just simple steps to start out with.
Hey, friends, if you're looking for a little extra help in your Catholic homeschooling, check out Homeschool Connections. They've got live and recorded online classes for just about every subject, taught by instructors who really know their stuff and really love their faith. From a curious elementary school child to a teen getting ready for college, and every age in between, they've got you covered. Head on over to homeschoolconnections.com to learn more. I think that's great because, like you said, it's not about doing a full revamp and eating different foods that maybe you've got to convince your kids to like. It's about finding the healthier yogurt with less sugar, with less dyes. It's about making healthier swaps for things your family already loves. So I really like that idea. And I love the tip of having the board out, the fruit, the cheese, the meat, something out for them when they get home. My kids, I know when they get home from co op, they are so
Yeah.
starving and they don't really my kids don't love to eat at school because they wanna have as much time talking and playing with their friends, so they come home starving, and I've also started to do this, Christina, maybe you're gonna say this is a good idea too, but sometimes I have dinner
Me
ready
too.
at, like, 4 when they come home, and then they can snack a little bit
Yeah.
later because otherwise they do run same thing, I've got, like, my snack drawer of things that I will put in their
Mhm.
lunches, and that's, like, not what I want them to be filling up on, and when they come home that hungry, sometimes I wanna fill them up with whatever I've got for dinner first.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like Monday, I do chicken cutlets, and I do a ton of them. I do like 36 chicken cutlets because I know they have
Oh my
sports.
goodness.
I know they have sports and they have activities. You know what? They take a chicken cutlet, I make them in the oven, tons of olive oil. They take a chicken cutlet and they run out the door, and I'm fine with it. But like you said, I do dinner too.
Yes.
Like I will have a dinner ready and then I'll be like, look, just have a little fruit or something before you go to bed. And just to not to stay away from the pantry, like the processed foods, like it's everything is like I said, everything is habitual. So it becomes a habit to be like, oh, we're in the
Mhm.
car, let me just throw back a bag of chips because, it becomes a habit. And the habits are really they're our habits that we're passing on to the kids.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I understand, and it really is so easy to fall into the trap of convenience.
Oh,
And I agree. I hate to give my kids their snacks wrapped in plastic and with preservatives and just, everything that you've shared. But I agree with you. If we can break that cycle and get rid of the pantry, our homes are much, much healthier.
yeah.
Um, and I know, for us homeschool moms, I'll speak on behalf of a lot of the homeschool moms I know, we really want to incorporate some meaningful real life skills into the curriculum that we teach at
Yeah.
home. So, as much as we're teaching, maybe we have those workbooks for math, we really want our kids getting out and learning some real life skills and getting real life experience. And we love teaching our kids to grow and raise their own food. My kids have been for this whole year in a farm school once a week. And I want you to really speak to the heart of the mom who's listening who, like me, I have done this, I have felt this way, but dreams of a rural life. Like sometimes I think I don't have an acre. We don't live on enough space for me to be able to have this dream garden or farm. But what can I do in a suburban neighborhood? What can I do even if I'm in maybe even a more urban area that I can bring the dream of a home farm to life even in a really small way?
So you can start out by just a small garden, right? So even if a garden is a lot for you, like the smaller, the better. I always tell people baby steps because everybody's always like, I want to go get chickens. And I'm like, okay, but what are you going to do when you get a rooster?
Yeah.
Like baby
Mhm.
steps. Go to your supermarket. They have basil and then they have the basil plant. Take the basil plant, put it on your windowsill, and watch it flourish. Start there. Okay? Buy some herbs, put them on your windowsill, put them in a bowl. Start small. Do some tomatoes outside. Yes, it's beautiful to have a farm. Don't get me wrong. But every single day, you do come head on with issues. For example, roosters. I can't tell you how many people offer me roosters because you don't know when you hatch eggs what you're going to get. So start small. Learn
Mhm.
to can. Canning is so much fun. My kids love canning days. You know,
I want you to tell me more about this because I am so interested in it myself and I'm so
yeah.
scared of some of the hazards of being safe. Can you give us some safety tips and some advice on canning? Because I love the idea of doing it
It's
myself.
so funny because I never realized when you make tomato Italian people make tomato sauce every August. That's canning. And like nobody ever realizes it that they're canning and they're canning on such a large scale. But look, if berries are on sale, can them, make jam. I have friends who make
Mhm.
salsa. I have friends who can pineapples when they're on sale. And I'm like, what are you gonna do with canned pineapples? So like make a ham, duh. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I
Yeah,
never thought of that.
that's
Right, like
cool.
I never thought of that. So you can almost anything. You can can bone broths when you have a carcass from a chicken. Make a bone
Mm.
broth, can it. And basically you just put it in a jar and you put a little pressure on the top and you boil it and it'll seal. And if you look up you can look up guides on how much time to can certain things need to be boiled a little longer than others. But even canning, like when you open that pantry and it's full of mason jars, your heart is so warm. I can't even tell you. And if you have a small garden and you can some of the things in your garden and then when you open it in October and you're like, "Oh my goodness, look, fresh tomatoes that we canned." And you can open them up and you can make some fresh tomato sauce. I can't tell you the reward. And the kids, all of a sudden they eat what they want to eat what they grew. They don't mind so much,
Mhm.
you know?
I love that. Tell me more about how you get your kids involved because it sounds like your kids have gotten a firsthand look at everything you do on your, your house in Long Island, but also upstate. And I've seen them at your farmer's
Yeah, yeah.
market helping. Your eldest was running the cash register, which us homeschool moms, I got to tell you, that makes our day to see them involved in all these amazing things. So, how do you get your kids involved in the farm?
So you have to figure out what everybody likes. Like my daughter, believe it or not, she loves to horseback ride, but believe it or not, she does not love the hands-on farming so much. She doesn't. She loves when there's babies
Uh-huh.
on the farm, but I have to tell you, we just brought in 70 chicks. She didn't touch one. She didn't touch one.
Wow, 70.
She didn't touch one.
Amazing.
But she'll work the farmers markets. She doesn't mind dealing with the people. She doesn't mind getting up early. So we'll put her there. You'll see her there all the time. My middle one, he's like a worker. He put 65 plants in the garden with me. I mean, on his knees, we were dead after.
Wow.
I kept telling him, like, "Are you all right? You all right? Like, you need a break." Like, he loves his hands in the dirt. He doesn't mind. And my little one is just like,
Mhm.
forget it. He'll do I mean, he was, I found baby chicks in his room at one point. Like he wants he's little, so he'll put his hands in
Wow.
everything. But you figure out what everybody
Yeah.
likes, and then you kind of have to navigate a little bit. But I don't give options to my kids. Like I don't tell them like,
Mhm.
hey, do you want to come and help in the garden? I'm like, boys, I need help in the garden. Let's go. Like we got to start, we're
I
late.
love
It's
that.
late in the year. Let's go. And it's good for them, right? We know it's good
Mhm.
for them.
It's so good
Yeah,
for
but, like,
them.
tonight, everybody's gotta pack up, even my daughter, she's furious, she's gotta pack up because we gotta go pick up all the meat is ready from processing, so I gotta pack everybody up, and we gotta head, to go pick it up,
Mhm.
and everybody has to participate, It's important that they do, and I spoke to a dairy farmer once, and it was so funny, and I was like, "Wow, you look so tired," and she's like, "I look tired, you look tired," and we were, like, going back and forth, and she said something to me, and she was like, I always have my kids with me when I pick up dairy, my kids are always with me because it's like we pick up like 200 gallons, so I actually physically need the extra hands. And she said,
Mhm.
"It's so important that you have your kids with you when you work," because she said the most quality time that you have with your kids is when you guys are working together side by side with your hands. Like can you think of anything more quality time than you guys working together? And I was like, no, I can't because yes, we spend quality time together in short spurts. But when my children work with me, we're together the whole day and we're conversing the whole day. And like, it kind of just like, I don't know, but it is, it's like, it's important. So
It's so enriching for them. I think it gives them, of course, they're getting this very rich education on farming and gardening, but they're also getting a peek into business ownership and entrepreneurship and seeing mom work and have to maybe troubleshoot sometimes and manage her time and balance all of the responsibilities that you have. That really equips them with the tools to do so as they get older and also builds, I'm sure, their motivation to build a business for themselves someday. So definitely, mama, you're doing a great job. Definitely inspiring your kids and giving them such a great example.
thank you. We try. All we can do is try,
Yeah,
try
you're
our
doing
best.
amazing. Absolutely. So I want you to give me like your number one piece of encouragement that you'd offer for again that mom who feels really inspired by your story. You started with a couple chickens, you started in a more rural area and decided to bring it home. What one piece of advice can you share with that mom who's going to start small like you said, but she's doubting herself. She's wondering if she can really do it. What would you leave her with?
Start small, but start because the start is good enough. The fact that you're willing to start is good enough. You know, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't start with, I'm going to get, 20 chickens. Just start small. Make a small change. Every day, make one small change and you will get there and see how much you can handle. And, as you can handle more, you add on more and you will get there.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. Mamas, you can do it. If you're listening,
You
you
can
can
do
do
it.
it. If you look at my Instagram, I'm certainly trying myself. We made 4 raised beds in the backyard and we don't have a lot of
See?
space. And it's been so wonderful. The boys love it. They love getting their hands dirty. They love watching it grow. They love to play with the hose and the water. As soon as I'm ready to water the garden, they're ready to have some fun outside. So, certainly, even just the motivation of needing to water the garden gets us outside more, which I think is so great. That's what we want for our kids. We want them to be out in the sunlight, getting some fresh air, and it's so good for all of
It
us.
is.
So, Christina, I want to do a little homeschool hot seat. That's our rapid fire fun. I'm going to ask you some real quick questions, and I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. All right? Okay. Here's my first one. Beef tallow skincare. It is all the rage right now. Is it a yay or a
Oh,
nay?
yeah. Ap
Yeah, why? Tell me why.
It's natural. Anything natural, and I like using the entire animal. So when our beef comes back, I have it separated. Bones go to broth. The fat goes to tallow. You have to use the entire animal. And it's healthy for us. Anything natural is healthy for us. You can't tell me that putting some something oxide is healthier on your skin than just beef tallow. Come on. Mhm. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
All right, here's my next one. Is sourdough really better for gut health?
Yes. I think so. I think it is.
Yeah.
It's natural
Tell me
yeast.
why.
It's natural yeast. There's no artificial yeast in there. Artificial yeast kind of like expands in our stomach. I don't know, it bothers my stomach. And we have more control. The less ingredients we use, we have more control too. I like, I use organic flour. I bring my water from upstate. I try to use a really high quality sea salt. It's less ingredients. That alone makes it healthier.
I agree. I think so too. All right, this is a controversial one. Raw milk, a yay or an A?
100% yay. We love raw milk.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So milk has two different ways. You treat milk by pasteurizing, and then you treat milk by homogenizing. When we pasteurize, it's low heat, and it's supposed to be done slow so that you can maintain the sugars and all the natural fats and enzymes in the milk. When you homogenize, it's at a really high temperature, so you're technically burning the milk. So it's almost like if I took a piece of chicken and I lit it on fire for 3 hours, and then I'm like, here, eat it. How are you going to obtain nutrients from it? And milk is funny because if milk doesn't have the proper balance, it's hard for us to digest because it is from a foreign animal. So it's hard for us to digest. So raw milk still has the enzymes, making it easier for our body to break down. I love raw milk, but again, I'm a person, I believe in using the entire animal. So to me, milk comes from the animal. So I'm definitely a pro raw milk person. And if you can't get raw milk, just get pasteurized, but stay away from the homogenized. That's burned.
Good tip. I love that. Christina, this has been so fun. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank
Such good
you.
information. Gave me some, no pun intended, some food for thought. So thank you so much for joining us today. For more information about Christina and Moola Farms, be sure to check out the show notes below. I've even got some of her information in case you're local and want to stop by and visit or get a delivery from her. To all my homeschool mamas, I hope that this has been a great conversation for you. I hope it's been full of encouragement for you, just as it was for me. And this isn't the end of the conversation. I want to hear from you. Come connect with me over on Instagram, join the discussion on our Facebook page, or leave a comment below. Tell me what today's conversation sparked in you or anything else on your heart. I personally read and respond to every message. Until next time, don't forget, you got this. Christina, thanks again.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. This was so much fun.
Oh, thanks,
Thank
Christina.
you.
This isn't the end of the conversation. I want to hear from you. Come say hi on Instagram, connect with me on Facebook, or leave a comment below. I want to know what today's conversation sparked in you. I read and respond to every message. Until next time, remember, you got this.